family. It's Nomsa here. Find your own voice led from within. With me today is Rachel G. Good afternoon, Rachel G.
Hello, Nomsa. Good afternoon.
Awesome, awesome. So today we are talking about self-compassion. You chose this topic, Rachel. Could you please explain to our audience what does this topic mean to you and why did you choose it, please?
Well, first and foremost, I would say probably I believe that the entire world needs to become more compassionate with themselves and with their lives. Something compassion is that recognition, right? That in our own common humanity, it's accepting that we are flawed, we are not perfect individuals, and yet it's really quite funny how easily I see with my clients how much we forget our humanity, and we fall into this trap of believing that things in life are supposed to really go well and everything's supposed to be great. We're never supposed to make mistakes. When difficulties come or challenging things happen in our lives, we just immediately seem to jump to this idea that, well, I must have done something wrong, or I'm not good enough, etc., etc. And we have these insecure feelings that come up because we believe that things shouldn't have happened, and we then give ourselves blame and we shame ourselves, and puts us into a place where we feel very disconnected and alone. And through my own journey, I started to remind myself that, well, my journey is an ongoing one. It's never getting to a certain place and it's all finished and it's over and done with. And I need to regularly check in with myself and be nice to myself and be kind to myself, and realize that I'm a human being, and I have struggles, and I have to deal with hardship occasionally, and that's okay, because that's part and parcel of being human. It's the human experience. And when I brought compassion into my life rather than judgment, big things started to change with myself, with the relationship I have with myself, but also with other people. And really, compassion is just, we have a lot of, we can have compassion for others, and that compassion we just need to turn inward and apply to ourselves. And that's really, I think, something that we too easily forget. And that's why I put this subject on the table today.
You say, Rachel, that we forget our humanity, and we think that everything has to go smooth, and there's no room for problems. I remember the first time when I got into personal development using Paul McKenna's programs. Although I was like getting there and getting ready, my mind working on my mind and everything. But there was a part where he would say, whatever you do in life every day, write your list, the list of your goals, what you are going to do in the day. And then in the middle of it, wherever you fit in, you just try to write problems. Because in our mindset, when we expect things to go the way we want it to go, we write off problems, but problems will always be there. So when you do that, it means you will treat yourself with compassion, because you will know that problems are part of my life. And when problems, they do come, and then you will actually, instead of blaming yourself and saying, I'm not good enough and I can't do this, you work on your life and managing your emotions as well, and knowing that it is very, very important, like what you were saying, Rachel, to have a compassion for your life, and it will help you to actually, when you do that, it helps you to feel empathy for yourself, and it helps you to understand how to cope with your everyday life and how to deal with your emotions. When you have self-compassion, you are able to actually accept yourself for who you really are with your flaws. There are some people that will go on social media, don't have self-compassion for themselves, and they'll look at the other people, how they're posting, how powerful their words are, and they'll completely start judging themselves and coming in a place of a judgmental, like what you were saying, instead of having compassion with themselves and use that person and say, you know what, I like this person. I like the person who they are becoming and who they are, but I would like to know, let me follow this person and actually get to know what do they do different to be who they are, to think the way they think, instead of completely judging yourself straight away. Because everything is a journey, like what you were saying, life is a journey. We all learn by the skills, by having good role models in our life. That's why the environment where we are in is very, very important. So I can't go on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram and read somebody post and then start judging myself based on that. So I have to have compassion on myself. And when I read someone's post, if it's really, really touching my heart, I'm like, I like this person. You know what I do on my phone? I have top people that I follow. I check their post every now and then. I just copy their links so that I don't forget. I don't spend time finding them. If I see somebody really, they're a good role model to me, I really, really love the person, who they are and stuff, I just copy one post of their post, and then I'll put it on my diary thing on my phone. So every now and then I'll go and click the link and see what they're posting, the updates, see what they're up to, and in that way it helps me not to judge myself. They are my role model, but I can't take their image. I have to have compassion within myself and not like bruising myself and I'm like, why can't I think in the same way they think? Why can't I do things the same way they do? I know I can never be that person, but I just have to, instead of being too hard on me, I just have to write my habit. This is the character that I desire as Nomsa, and I'm going to work on myself. And if problems do come, I'm like, okay, problems. I went to see my father-in-law yesterday in a hospital. He is at a treatment and he's laying there. I couldn't communicate with him because he was coming from the ICU. He's going to a different department. Hopefully he's gonna go back to normal. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is the man that not long ago, you go to the shops and buy food and come home and you say, here's your favorite chocolate or here's your favorite biscuits, walking on his own. He's 66, he's still young. But now watching him, his life has just been turned upside down. I wasn't sad or anything, but I just felt that life is not, it's not what we expect. So it's important to live every second, every minute of your life, embracing who you are and being grateful for that life, because anything can happen. And I'm sitting there and the nurse is looking at me. She's like, he's gonna be okay. And she's talking to me about his life, what he did and stuff. So I'm like, you're trying to take my mind off because you know what is going on. So like, she can tell that I'm really sad, but I'm just gonna have to go along with her conversation, but I know what she's doing. You could see she was trying, like, what did he do for work and how many children does he have? She's actually trying to get my mind off the sadness. So I was like, okay, I can see what you're doing. Like what you were saying, Rachel, that we just have to have compassion with ourselves. And that's why I had compassion with myself, that I know what is Nomsa, this is painful just to see him like this. but know that everything is going to be okay. And in that moment, I knew that I will never, ever take life for granted in my life.
Yeah. I mean, it is really important to bring to yourself that warmth, that support, that encouragement, instead of being, bringing coldness or judgment and criticism to yourself. And especially when we're going through difficult times, like what you're experiencing now with a family member, that's it's probably needed more then than any other time, with ourselves. And it is, I think people can underestimate the power that is within self-compassion. It's a really powerful inner source that we have available to us at any time, that will help us to cope and become more resilient with, things that are going on within our lives and within the world, when we look out, with what's going on. And it's, of course, there's been a number of different elements, but I know that self-compassion, after getting to that place of acceptance of what was, what is, I had to bring in compassion for myself. And then moving through my journey, every step of the way, through the highs and the lows, I needed to always just bring a part of myself to another part of myself that maybe was in need, and bring that compassion to it, and realize that, I am a being that is not, even if I'm set in sadness, there is a part of me that can come with compassion and give myself that virtual hug. Just touching yourself, putting your hands on your heart, giving yourself, just soothing yourself through times of feeling difficult, of difficult periods, is it's quite remarkable what we can do for ourselves, and not have to rely on another individual to give us that feeling that we're secure. You're quiet again.
Is it me or you? Are you still talking?
No, I'm not talking.
Ah, okay. I thought I'd lost you. You were talking and then you stopped talking. I actually agree with you, Rachel. Human beings, we go through so much. If we were to actually think about the three core components of self-compassion, which is self-compassion will be the key of resilience and well-being. It will help us to cope with the difficult emotions, because when we go through something, we go through stress. How do we maintain that stress if we don't have self-compassion with ourselves? We have to maintain our positive outlook in life. And do we pretend that everything is okay? No, we don't. Do we just have to have compassion to actually have the courage to talk about what we are going through in life? Not to everyone, of course, but to other people that we trust. Everyone has that champion in their lives that they trust. You go to work in the morning or in the evening, when you get home, and sometimes things don't go well at work, or they don't go well at home. So you have to have that compassion within yourself, and having an understanding of kindness. Kindness, it doesn't mean that you have to give kindness to other people. There are people that will give kindness, share their kindness with everyone. But when it comes to their lives, they are like, they don't have compassion. There is no warmth, there is no understanding or any feeling of compassion in it. It's like, why am I behaving like this? Why? It's like they just making themselves everything they do is wrong, or wrong. They enter a relationship. If a relationship doesn't work out, they are like, if I knew how to do this, I would have avoided this. But you can't avoid. Sometimes when you meet someone, you meet people for a season. Sometimes we believe that we are meeting people for the rest of our lives. You connect with people. I don't know, have you ever had that experience, Rachel, where you connect to someone for business events, and then it's like the person comes into your life, they do something, they help you with something, a journey for a little bit, and now they're gone. And instead of us celebrating of them entering that life and enjoying it and being grateful that, you know what, I'm grateful that I had the courage to go to this event and I met this person and they helped me with this problem, or they were just in my life. I've managed to get to know them. We let ourselves experience pain, suffering, distress when it comes to relationship. If relationship don't work out, we experience suffering and pain, and we start blaming ourselves. We don't actually reward ourselves with anything. And our thoughts, they go somewhere else. The feelings, we just go to sorrow instead of having this joy within ourselves. Of course, things have gone wrong. Even maybe business or at work, things go wrong. But you have to have a little bit of compassion, a little bit of joy about yourself, and just be there for you instead of coming in a place of judgmental, instead of judging yourself. Like if I was this, I would have avoided this. When it comes to children, if I was this, I would have avoided this. I've seen that there are some parents that actually blame themselves when things go wrong with children. They blame themselves. I'm like, it's like me. My parents did whatever they can with me, raising me up. But whatever happens that after that, can't blame yourself as a parent. Or when it comes to relationship, we do what we do best. Whatever happens to somebody's feelings, we don't have control of it. If I get up in the morning and my feelings are different and I'm effing and blinding, or somebody else, I don't eff and blinding anyway, by the way, I don't swear. That would be a shock to my family or to anyone around me that knows me. But what I see is, if somebody is having a bad day, you have to have compassion with yourself and understand the feelings. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it be. Like yesterday, we wanted to go to see my father-in-law. They're telling me 20 the reason why yesterday they could not go, and why they can't go to the hospital every day. And I was like, you know what, guys, you can stay at home, have fun. I need to be there. So I'm going to the hospital. I'm walking in. I'm like, was these kids trying to tell me something with their father? I'm glad they stayed at home, because I wouldn't want them to see him like this. So I was like, so that was happening for a reason. So I just sat down and I walk in at home and I'm like, I'm glad you guys decided to stay at home, because you would have been really, really upset to see your granddad like that. So they were like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah. Yeah. So I had to have compassion with the situation, because for me, there's one thing that I have. When you're making decisions, you can either get on with it without complaining. If you complain, that means your mind is not in it and don't do it anyway. So it's like, I'm just gonna go. So I just went on my own with some peace and quiet, and I was like, I love this quietness. So then when I go to the hospital, I was like, okay. So there was a reason why everyone was like, not today. And me saying, today I need to be there.
Yeah, for me, I mean, there are different elements of how self-compassion you can apply it, show up in your life. And for me, I found that it really started to motivate me to want to make whatever necessary changes I needed to make in my life. Whereas when I had been much more critical with myself, any changes that I wanted to make would come from a place of me feeling inadequate. Whereas now, with self-compassion being a regular part of of what I give to myself, that is now it's coming from a place of me caring about myself and how I feel, and that me, wanting to feel much more happier. And it's also helped me to be much more active and taking like an active stance in my own personal healing and on my self-acceptance journey. And it helped me to become more open to myself, to others. I have a lot more self-awareness because of being kind to myself, which is what self-compassion is, rather than actually just being stuck in that self-identification with whatever the problem was that I was experiencing in life, and thinking, yeah, but why me? Poor me, only bad things happen to me. Being stuck in that place is because it's coming from a place of me believing that I was inadequate, and that's coming because I'm always critical to myself. And so once I change that over into self-compassion and showing up and having understanding, and being kind to myself through whatever I was going through, be that I perceived it as a failure, or I made a mistake, or whatever, it just is a lot it makes the journey a lot easier. It doesn't make it easier. It makes it a little bit more ease. Easier maybe is the wrong word, but there it comes. It helps you to. It softens the edges of what can sometimes feel quite sharp and pricky in life, right? It sharpens the edges. Sharpens the edges. It stops the edges feeling so sharp. I'll get it right in a minute. And so, yeah, that for me I just know that self-compassion has been helped me to make that pivotal change in a direction in which I want to move forward in life.
I love that, Rachel. I love that. And also like how you use it as self-compassion. I love it. And because when you do that, it will help you, instead of getting in that a place where, oh, why me? Why me? What's his name? Also, who do you suggest? What's his name? The speaker. Say when you go into a feeling sorry club, why do I always what's this, the twin guy, what's his name? Rachel, come on.
I don't know. The twin guy.
Yeah, the twin guy. The speaker, what's his name? He's my favorite speaker. Why do I always, the name goes away when I want to he's always on Facebook with Lisa Nicholson and stuff. What's his name? His name is gonna come back to me.
Yeah.
He's my favorite speaker. I don't know why am I forgetting him. I love that when you say you use compassion to actually help you move forward with life, instead of going to that why me a thing club.
Yeah.
Problems will always be there. So you have to, instead of looking at your weaknesses and dwelling into what is gone wrong, I think it's very, very important to actually accept that you are not perfect in life, and accept that life is not perfect. Because if life was perfect, this world will be a boring place. Honestly, it will be really, really boring if you were to go to work and everything is perfect. You go home and sleep, the husband is perfect, the wife is perfect, the children are perfect. They won't be fun. So we have to accept that in life, and also understanding that when we are feeling overwhelmed, and by our emotions, it can be difficult to understand what is self-compassion, but it's very, very important to actually come in a place of thinking about health. What does it mean if I don't feel compassion about myself? Does it mean if I'm feeling angry, feeling frustrated, is this going to affect my health? What if I'm feeling I get angry with people at work, get angry with my spouse, my children? What is it going to do to me? Then it's stress, is everyone around you. So it's nice to actually when you are feeling down, to actually understand the word, what does it mean to be compassionate about yourself? What are the things that I can do to actually feel better about myself? And also, when you are doing that, knowing that this world is not a perfect world, we are all here. Everything that myself I saw as a mistake, that came to me as a failure, as a mistake, it has helped me to be the person that I am today. And I was telling you guys, when was it? Yesterday that I deleted videos. I deleted 10 videos by mistake. I was doing putting the videos on the ads on YouTube, like just putting them in instead of pressing the button on, like to accept the videos being put on a thing. I actually pressed delete, and I didn't realize until a few hours later, and I'm like clicking and clicking and clicking, and I was like, where are these videos? Where are they going? I can only see the videos that were taken like 2 weeks ago. Where the 1 week ago? No, 3 weeks ago. Where are the 1 week ago and 2 weeks ago? And they're gone, deleted. And I was like, ooh. And I was like, what do I do? I'm gonna have compassion with myself. And I try to go on YouTube how to restore the video. So I'm gonna have get a software to actually put the videos on somewhere else and then put them on social media. And everyone was like telling me this. And then I found this girl. She was like, you have to contact the YouTube partnership and ask them to actually, and then I contacted them and they come back and telling me I need to find the IDs and the links of the video. And I was like, this is sound like a nightmare. So I tried to find the links and send the IDs, and they didn't work. And they were like, okay, can you give us the titles of the video? So then I sent the titles, and then I signed the agreement of the videos being restored. And then that's when I got an email that the videos have been restored after a few days. And then that's when I told you guys that, oh, by the way, if you guys went on YouTube and you couldn't find the videos that you broadcasted, and they were deleted by mistake, and I did not want to say anything, because if you say anything to somebody, people will start panicking and they will start saying different things. So I was like, at least we have videos on other social medias. I can always download and put them on YouTube, but it's not the same because those videos, they've been viewed and people have seen them. So I was like, they need to come back. So they restored them. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. But for me to be able to go through all that, I have to go through self-compassion. I have to go through the meditation where I don't judge myself. When problems comes, I'm like, oh, okay. So I have to go in a place where I'm like calm. And when I go calm and I'm like sorting out problems, what's the solution? And once I find the solution, and then I solve it. When you hear me talking about the problems, it means I've moved away from it.
Compassion is also what I use with my clients a lot, like getting them to tap into their compassionate side of themselves so that they are able to actually go beneath the surface and down into the core of what are the stories that they are telling themselves. If you're trying to do that kind of work and you're going in full with judgment and criticism, you're not going to get very far.
No, it's painful as well, Rachel.
Yeah. And so, by getting them to tap into that compassionate aspect of themselves, because we all have that, it really helps them to see the story that they're telling themselves unconsciously, what those beliefs are around that story, and basically, where they came from, and then help to really guide them to get to a point where they can start to let go of what is not serving them anymore. And so without compassion, in my belief, we wouldn't get very far. And that's why people sometimes feel very stuck in their journey, because they are continuing to only come with judgment and criticism to themselves, rather than coming with kindness and understanding. And when you can flick that switch, then you are more able to open yourself, your heart to yourself.
It. I love that, Rachel. I'm sure there is a reason why we love judging ourselves. I actually used to judge myself a lot, and I think I finished judging myself when I was 26. How old was I? I think 28. Yeah, I was 28. I'm 44 this year. 44? Yeah. I was 28 when I stopped judging myself. And every situation, I used to judge myself a lot. But now I don't, because I understand that I have to care for myself. And I understand that no matter what is going on in my life, I still have to treat myself with respect. I still have to care for myself, and I still have to recognize and acknowledge my feelings as well, and accepting that my experience that I'm going through there, and at that moment, it's like I'm building the connection with myself and the connection with the world, because this world, without problems, it wouldn't be a better world. Problems are the ones that help us to grow. Problems are the ones that help us to get up in the morning, and joy as well. Joy help us to get up in the morning. So joy and problems. But when it comes to sorrow, if your life is sorrow after sorrow, that's when you just have to sit down and have really, really self-compassion with yourself, and like not asking why. How can I do things differently for me not to end up in this situation over and over again? And also, there are some feelings in life that we can tolerate, feelings from other people, and even feelings from us. And there are environments that cannot allow us to have self-compassion. So if you find yourself in that environment, what can help you? Ask yourself, what can help you live freely and have compassion with yourself, and think about your happiness, think about your well-being, and think about the pillars that can help you actually have the compassion, have this ability to be kind, to care for yourself. And if you do think that you can practice the power of kindness, the power of caring, what does it mean to care? Because in order for me to actually care for Rachel, I got to care for myself. I cannot, or in order for me to get along with Rachel, I have to get along with Nomsa. As you can see, my name is Nomsa. In order for me to actually say, you know what, Rachel, I care about you, or in order for me to actually have compassion with Rachel and sympathize with Rachel, I've got to do it myself first. As long as I can learn to love Nomsa, I can have compassion with anyone. I can have compassion with myself. So if you are somebody who is out there and you are struggling, you don't have to ask why, because why you end up getting us to surrender our energy. So you don't have to say why. What can I do to make things different? Little things, those little habits that we can create. Like you get up in the morning, you clean your teeth. It's a small habit, but it's a small habit that can help you to have your teeth last for a long time, until you die healthy. It helps you to have healthy teeth. So what else can you do that small, something small that can give you and help you live longer? Because stress is not good for you. Not having caring or having compassion is not good for you. We have to care ourselves. Before you can call me honey, I love you, you know, you are my world, you are my this, all those words I've got to say it to myself. And if a man comes to you, if you are a woman, or a woman comes to you and say, you know what, I love you with all my heart. You know what, when I look at you, when you smile, it's like, you know what, you open up the world. It's like the world, you make the world different. You got to look at them, that person, and say, do you feel that about yourself? Because if they don't feel about yourself, that means they're telling you porcupines. What do you think, Rachel?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the classic when we say that you self-compassion is treating yourself like you would your best friend. Um, it it is true. A friend, a family member, anybody that you love deeply, think about how you treat them.
Yeah.
Um, on a good day, because maybe some people don't, when they say that they still love somebody, you know, that they still don't treat them necessarily well. But you know, when you're having a good day and you're treating people well, it's coming from, you know, because you love them and you want the best for them, you care about them, you're interested in them, you want to help them out and support them any which way you can. Ask yourself, why is that such a difficult thing for you to do to yourself or for yourself? Ask yourself, if you're thinking, am I compassionate with myself or not? How do you deal with yourself when you perceive yourself as making a mistake, or you have failed in something? How do you show up for yourself then? And if you're showing it up as somebody who is not a best friend, then that's a good indication that there's some work to do there. And the more that you can learn how to be compassionate with yourself, to which is in essence really, you know, it comes under the umbrella of self-love, right? When you're able to do that for yourself, imagine how then when you show up for another person, when you're being compassionate, showing compassion for them, now it's going to come from a place that is truly authentic, because you know what that feels like, because you've been there with yourself with that.
That is so true. That is so true, Rachel. I actually agree with you. It is very, very true, because if you've been there in doing something, and when you actually, whatever the words that you say in that moment, they'll match the person that you are. If you are somebody who has compassion, kindness, if you understand the power of kindness, the power of gentleness, the attitude towards oneself. What does it mean when I have to be gentle with myself, rather than looking at in a situation when I'm having a bad day, and I'm going to treat myself as I am, like maybe I blame myself for coming into a judgment place. And also understanding this is your part where self-love coming in, the power of self-love as well. So how do we understand it? And that is really, really important. And understand that I have to understand that I'm not perfect when it comes to life. I have to be aware of, be in the present moment, and be aware of my feelings and my emotions. And if I'm going through tough times, I have to be aware that I am going through tough times, and be able to talk about it with somebody, instead of we tend to actually shut down. We build a wall that we give names, problems, we give them names that, you know what, if I tell people about my problems, everyone is very judgmental. People are this, people are this. But in all those people who are judgmental, there's one person that is willing to actually listen to your problems, that is willing to give you that hug, that is willing to be there for you. So if you really, really, really love yourself, and you have self-compassion, you understand those things. What does it mean? It's self-love. So it means if I don't feel okay, I don't walk to work and pretend that I'm okay when I'm not okay. That day, if I don't feel okay, I have to let my manager know. For me, as a person, as a CEO, if somebody is having problems at home or they're not feeling okay, I rather they tell me, Nomsa, I'm not okay. As long as if you tell me your problems, if you feel that you have to tell me. But if you let me know that, Nomsa, although I'm at work, but my life, I'm not in a good place. And that's when I have to ask myself, what part do you want me to play? Do you want to go home? Or do you want to talk about it? Or are you just going to be okay? So that is called self-compassion instead of, you know what, I'm going to go to work. This manager is horrible, but I'm just going to put up with them. And, there's no jobs out there. People give things names. There's no jobs, they're like, look at the recession. They're like, things are tough times these times. So they make excuses for everything. Have self-compassion, self-love, gratitude with yourself. And I have this thing where number one, I say, I look after Nomsa. If Nomsa doesn't get along with Nomsa, how can I get along with anybody else? If Nomsa doesn't take good care of herself, if I don't meditate, if I don't pray, how do I expect the world to treat me? So I have to pray. I have to use my beliefs to help me each and every single day. And then I have this thing where I just have to say, I can't let people affirm my destination because I am the lead, I am in charge, I'm the author of my destiny. So being the author of my destiny, it means that I have to trust me. I have to believe in me. I have to embrace my mistakes, my failures, and I have to know that I am human. I'm not perfect. And when I do something wrong or to anyone, I have to know to say sorry and move on. Then it's up to that person to forgive or they don't forgive. Or if I do a mistake myself, or maybe not treating myself with compassion, I have to learn to forgive myself and move on with my life. I'm on earth to live and happy. You see this smile that when I smile on social media, when I'm on my live, this live talk, I smile everywhere. When I'm saying hello to somebody, I'm saying it, I've got to feel it. It's no pretense because I'm feeling it inside. And when I'm not sad, I don't have to smile. I let somebody know if I'm sad that, you know what, I don't feel too good. But I stopped doing that, talking about I don't feel too good. I just listen to my music and just laugh at problems. I just laugh to scorn like out loud my problems. Honestly, it does help me out.
That's really nice. I mean, when you think of compassion, sometimes it isn't about trying to move us it's not about moving us in a different direction. Compassion is about just being with yourself in whatever you are currently experiencing and just not judging it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, sometimes our best friend, we just need them to be there in the room. They don't have to be saying anything, they have to be doing anything. It's just their presence. It's just that they're there showing us that, hey, you know what, I know you're going through a difficult time at the moment, and I'm just here to let you know that I'm here when you need me. And when we can do that for ourselves, that is just so beautiful, because you really start to nourish that relationship with yourself and see yourself through loving eyes rather than judgment eyes. And yeah, it's not so much an action, it's more just a being with yourself, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I love that, Rachel. We do need our friends to be there. It's like sometimes it's like if somebody, let's say, they go through something that I have experienced, or there's times where I go through something, and then when you tell someone, they're like, I know what you're feeling. And I'm like, but you don't know what I'm feeling. How can you say you know what I'm feeling? So I'm like, no, it's a lie. So sometimes we do need our friends and family to just be there in the room, like what you're saying, just to listen.
Yeah.
And when the advice is needed, is when somebody will say, if it was you, what would you do differently? Then that person, they need advice. But sometimes, like, I find it when people go through problems, like if someone rings me, I don't give advice. The only time where I give advice is when somebody, let's say, they're grieving, and then they started going somewhere to the blame place. So I'm like, can we stay focused on where we're going? I'm like, let's stay focused on where we are going. And I'm listening. And I'm like, because when somebody's grieving, you want them to focus on that grieving. And if they start blaming themselves that I wasn't there when this happened, so I'm like, okay, I understand, but let's stay focused. It's time to grieve. And there's no excuses. You can't make excuses, because when you start blaming, it means that you are in denial of the grief, and you're putting more and more problems in your life. So the best way is just to focus on what you are going through. And I always say, like, if you want to scream, I'm here, you can scream. I even said to you, Rachel, that whenever you feel like you want to scream at somebody, or if the day is going really bad, and you feel like you want to scream at somebody just for somebody to listen on the other phone while you are like screaming with the problems, I'm just going to be there and just listen without giving advice. I give advice when it's needed. If it's not needed, if somebody is in danger, yes, I can give advice. But other than that, I just listen to people and I just pray. The only thing that I do is if somebody is going really through something, I'll fast for 5 days on their behalf, just to make sure that they find the right path. And if I have to go 10 days, if they're still going through tough times, I will just do it and ask God to just intervene in that situation. Because all you need to do in life is to have self-understand. You work with self-love. All your clients is all about your well-being, is all about understanding the power of well-being and what does it mean to love yourself. So I think you understand more, Rachel, how important it is, because everybody is going through it. Neglecting ourselves, and then we don't have self-compassion, and so I think you know what I'm saying. So I think it's very, very important for anyone that is watching just to actually the judge. When we go into a judgment, we don't understand the word judgment. It means death, freedom, or chains, or death. So when we are judging ourselves, so we have to understand the meaning of the words. When I read the Bible all the time, and I'm like, actually the words judgment, it means actually I'm putting myself to court. I'm actually putting myself on trial, saying I'm not good enough. I'm this. So it's like when I read it over and over, it's like I don't judge myself anymore. Because before I couldn't, like, when you know the words, the meaning of the words, and then it keeps coming up, and then you come to an understanding what it means, and you're like, I'm not going to use this word this way anymore. So I'm not going to judge myself. I'm just going to come to a place where I have loving and caring and just have You know, when you have a problem, like when you meet someone, they tell you who they are, they tell you their story, you want to know their story, what made them who they are. You actually you relate, you sympathize with them, and then you connect. So that's the same thing that we need to do with ourselves and relate to this world, which is our mind, and be aware, be in the present moment of our thoughts and emotions, and think about the judgment, what's going to happen if I actually judge myself. But if I love myself, regardless of what, love is not everything, but love actually is the key component of how you are able to actually live your life freely. That word love. Because if you were to take everything away and you are left with just you, and God says, love you, what would you do? Like maybe 10 days without anybody. Just going to communicate with myself and tell myself how much I love myself in order for me to survive.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
self-compassion.
for me, like, self-love, that is really the big umbrella.
Yeah.
And underneath are the, compassion, forgiveness, acceptance, etc., accountability, responsibility. All of those different elements make up the whole self-love umbrella. And I think it's important to stress that what self-compassion can do is actually reduce your stress levels, because when we're being highly critical with ourselves, we actually activate our sympathetic nervous system, and so our stress levels actually do elevate. Yet when we apply self-compassion, what we actually then do is activate another part of our brain, which is more the nurturing part of us, and so that will then help us to actually be much more soothing, and kind to ourselves, and that in the end can only elevate our feelings of feeling good. And so if for any reason, if you're suffering from stress, start applying self-compassion, because that will start to help to reduce your stress levels.
And thank you so much, Rachel. And it's 2 o'clock now. If anybody is watching, do you have any words of encouragement? And also, can you tell our audience who you are and where they can find you, please?
Of course. Well, I'm Rachel G. I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, I'm a mentor, I'm a spiritual guide. And when people come to work with me, the result of my coaching programs, then individuals will really lovingly heal and accept themselves. They'll confidently express their authentic voice. They'll compassionately turn their wounds into wisdom. And I like to work with men and women eager to really get to know themselves on that deeper level, and who want to experience, let's say, a strong, heartfelt connection with themselves, experience an inner coach rather than inner critic, and really have a more joyful and peaceful lifestyle. So if you know somebody, send them my way. You can find me at Rachel G Healing on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Oh, you're on TikTok.
YouTube, yes.
I have to find you on TikTok, girl. I'm not on TikTok.
I have a free PDF, Self-Love Begins Here, which puts you into my newsletter, which is every month. If you looking to start your self-healing and acceptance journey, you can find that link in my bio on Instagram or Facebook.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rachel. We are here at Gospel Talk Shows Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time. And if it is your first time being here at Gospel Talk Shows, my name is Nomsa Clara. I am your love harmonist. Love is what I harmonize. You can find me on my website, www.hseia.com. And if you're looking for love and for a long-term relationship, you can go to my website, and the process for men is different. For men, you fill out the application form. Then if you want to go ahead with the joining the agency, we have to come and visit you at your home and where you're comfortable, and talk about the things that have worked in the past that haven't worked, and why are you looking for love? Why now? And then if you like me as a person, you think I can help you, and if I see that I can help you as well, we seal the deal of you joining the agency. And with women, because when it comes to women are members within the agency, they don't pay. So if you are a woman who is single and looking for love, please go to the agency and join. Women, we first ID verify, and men are ID verified on Zoom. And before we meet you, when we have like a match for you, that's when we actually meet you, so that when we introduce you to our guys, we would have met you in person, and we know who you look like, and we know you are who you say you are. So that's the process of Hope Springs Eternal Introduction Agency. Is a face-to-face ID verified. Is all the process is a very, very beautiful process, and we'll hold your hands through dark times until you find that person you're looking for. And Gossip Talk Shows is the same. You are looking to find your own voice, lead from within. You come at Gossip Talk Shows, you work with our coaches. We have different coaches from all walks of life. So you can choose whatever the problem you're going through, and choose the coach that you feel connected with and you relate to, and you can work with that coach. And at the same time, we are there for you. We don't just let you find your own voice and say, get on with it. For me personally, I am somebody who believes that in order for me to move forward, I have to look at my past. I have to look at my ancestors' past. I have to look at my grandparents. I have to look at my parents, because there are some people who go and buy products, courses, and courses don't work. And they look at themselves, they're like, why is my life not working? The present not work if the past is not dealt with. So our childhood attachment. So break the chains until you feel loved, self-love and self-compassion, and then you carry on with your life. That's the process that NOMSA does. If you are somebody who's fed up of being fed up of problems after problems, come at Gossip Talk Shows, and Hope Springs Eternal Introduction Agency will help you to find that breakthrough. Live with grace, everyone, and God bless.